Michael was hitting all his milestones. He was reciting the alphabet and his colors and numbers by 2. He had his first seizure when I was away at my uncle's funeral, and Sherry was home alone. He had another seizure within a week, and then 2 seizures, and then daily seizures, and then it escalated up to where he was having hundreds of seizures in a day. But I remember a very telling moment when we were at a Mayo Clinic, and we had just gone through a battery of tests, and the doctor uttered the words, "We're at the end of our technology. That's all we know." And unfortunately, we don't know what the answer is, what's causing it, or how to stop him. There was the possibility that it would be degenerative, that he could lose skills even more to the point of dying. And yet the most likely scenario was that he just wouldn't continue to function, which is essentially what happened, because even now, at 12, he's cognitively where he was then at 2-year-old.
Philip was a normal young teenager in high school in town here at Ignatius when he was struck with encephalitis one weekend, and he was a junior, and that pretty much began the course and the journey which he's embarked upon here the last 20 years.
I was down at North Avenue Beach with my friends, and my friends told me that that's where I had my first seizure. I wanted to be a lawyer, but that's just hasn't, well, because of all the seizures and different things that have happened to me, I haven't been able to do that.
He was normal, you know, and all of a sudden one day everything turned upside down. Somebody put him in a fully food mill or a processor or something and changed his life.
I take Dilantin, Keppra, Risperdal, and phenobarbital.
He had lots of episodes under lots of precarious circumstances. Most recently, he lost half of his spleen a couple months ago because he had a seizure, must have fallen on his arm. I can take a deep breath, and all of a sudden, Philip will rush into my mind with some recent calamity or tragedy or trauma or something like that, and I'm immediately reminded about the kind of courage and commitment he has to leading a normal life, and it always helps me keep my life in focus. He's made me a better person and hopefully a better father.
Our life, for the most part now, is day to day. You know, we really need to be flexible because our life revolves around if he's having a bad day, if he's having seizures, if he's having a tonic-clonic, if he's having drop seizures. I mean, that's it for us. No parent wants to see their child suffer some of the side effects of some of the medications that children have to deal with. But the reality is that now we know seizures, repeated seizures, do cause damage. If you see this child 2 weeks out without any seizure activity, you see a different child. You see a different child. And that's why we know there's a relationship between seizure activity and cognitive function. And there's no way around it. He's a different kid. And when that happens, I get my kid back. You know, I don't think there's anything out there that we love more. He's an incredibly neat guy. But that worst fear is something should happen to Sarah or I. Who could step up to the plate and take care of him the way that we do, and love him and care for him, those kind of things.
There's a sense of helplessness that you feel as a parent because you want so badly for it not to be happening to her. Stacy had her first seizure when she was 7 months old. You don't know where you're going to be in 10 minutes. Are you going to be in an ambulance, going to the hospital, or is she going to be through it and sitting on the chair watching Barney? You just don't know. And that's probably one of the biggest ways that our lives changed, is the unpredictability. But there were many times when she went into status that it was just as gut-wrenching as you know, anything could possibly be. Status means that a seizure is so strong and it just isn't going to end. It will continue to go on in her body until either her lungs or her heart shuts down, unless they're able to administer some kind of an anticonvulsant to stop the seizing. Yeah, there were many times in the emergency room where, you know, you're just laying there holding her with the doctors waiting. You know, there isn't a lot that they can do when a child is seizing. You can't help but think, is this it?
Chris was a wonderful son. He was fiercely protective of his older sisters. He was very loyal to his friends. He would go anywhere or do anything for them. And he had epilepsy. And he was diagnosed at age 16, 1 week prior to ending his senior year in high school. We just thought that it's manageable. He had epilepsy. He could take the medication and would be fine. We thought he was doing fine on the medication. And we were never told, nor was Chris, to our knowledge, told by his physician that he could die from this. He's buried just a mile from our house, and I go up, the first thing I do every morning is visit him, and the last thing I do every night is visit him. I'm not ashamed to admit that I cry every day. I'm not ashamed to admit that I miss him every day.
You know, my hope is that the research is right around the corner where we're going to find something that helps curtail his seizure type. And so he just has a chance to live and enjoy life like most kids.
I think it's not only important for the seed grant money that Cure provides to these doctors that have ideas on things that could be breakthroughs for epilepsy. I think it's just as important that more and more people understand what epilepsy is and how debilitating it is and what effect it has on children and families.
We don't want another family to go through what we've gone through. And with whatever we can do in our small little way to prevent another family from having going through it, we want to do. And the epilepsy puzzle can be solved. And it requires the finances to do it, and that's why we're involved. So there is no other Chris. We do it for Chris.
Cure is such a perfect grassroots level desire for people to find answers for their children. But I'm confident that with the research that's being done, the minds that are working on this, something tremendous will come out of this work.
A long time ago, I told one of my friends at work that my dad was going to rent the United Center out for our party when they find the cure. And maybe we'll invite you.